And speaking of one of those top three teams, the Eagles are undefeated. The
Yeah, that was
Eagles
crazy.
are undefeated still. The I'll start off quickly just mentioning this. The Cowboys' offensive line is uh, I feel like people are starting to catch on that they're not as good anymore. But the left side in particular, with Smith, and then the guard that they have, Connor McGovern, I think. Um, they're not holding their own at all. And I think it was shocking because I had a parlay which hinged on, and which I hit all of them except for 2 sacks against Cooper Rush. Because I don't think that they got any sacks on him, which was shocking to me. But they were getting pressure all night
But
regardless.
to his credit, I sympathize and think that Tyler Smith is doing okay given the fact that he was not expected at the beginning of the season to start at left
No,
tackle.
no,
They
but
were going to ease him in so much more with Tyron
yes.
Smith healthy. So for him to have to assume this role, he was a raw prospect or a raw prospect coming out of Tulsa. So I feel for him, but I do see what you mean. Like he's being asked to shoulder a lot for a rookie.
Yeah, and look,
And McGovern's he's
and
never been that great to begin with. McGovern, he's an okay guard. He's never been that.
yeah, yeah, and part of what bothers me is that this is just, and it shouldn't bother me because I hate the Cowboys, but they don't allocate their draft resources right in the way that the offensive line was the heartbeat of the way this team was constructed, and then you get Jerry Jones falling in love with CeeDee Lamb, taking him in the first round, which like he's a very good player. You can get really, really great receivers in the second and third round at this point in the NFL. So unless you're going for Jamar Chase, I don't really see that as a great allocation of
But you're
resources.
totally right in the sense of gone are the days where it was, it was not just Tyron Smith. It was Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Travis Frederick,
Right.
like all of these guys on the line who were playing at such a high level all together. And that, like you said, that's what gave them the juice and gave them the heartbeat for what, Zeke could do or for what, Dak was able to do when Dak was healthy.
And
And
by the way, enough with this like Cooper Rush should start. Thank you, Jerry, for pushing that into the news cycle and saying like, I don't know, maybe it's a good problem to
no,
have.
I mean, he's
No,
no,
he threw three
he's a
interceptions.
game manager.
He
Like
did not,
that's
right. He did
that,
not take his sacks, but he threw three interceptions. Darius Slay, James Bradbury played really well.
that's a fantastic secondary
Yeah, I
pairing,
mean
by the way.
to have James Bradbury as your number two is really, really good. And speaking of CeeDee Lamb really quickly, and I know I'll get to the Eagles in a second because they are just the masters of the RPO, but Mike McCarthy, what the hell was that when CeeDee Lamb was stretching for that first down and he just rushed to the line as if he was the one trying to avoid a challenge. Like they marked him short on fourth down. You're the one that could have taken the time and then challenged it. You did not need to rush to do, and they were trying to catch the Eagles defense off, but like I don't know, from my view, it was obvious that he crossed the plane.
Oh yeah,
Everyone
I
was saying
agree.
he
Yeah,
did
yeah.
cross the plane, so just take a second, you dumbass, and challenge it. And so it was just
He's like,
like
what do I do with my hands?
it was exactly. It was
Ah!
peak Mike McCarthy, and like one of the members of the Emma Hate Club is Mike
Yeah, the
McCarthy.
nemesis list.
Right,
Mike
right.
McCarthy.
I was just like,
We've gone to
that's
all three
why.
today, actually.
That's why, you dumbass. That's why.
We've gone to Brady Russ and Mike McCarthy in one way or the other
I
today.
find my way back, and then Odell Love is just central to
yeah,
everything I do.
on the lovers
And
list.
if he goes to the Cowboys, I'm gonna
That's that he's on the
legit
nemesis
cry
list.
tears on this program. But I mean, look, the Eagles are just they're so stacked, and the fact that they kept showing Jordan Davis in the middle of that defensive line, you're like, oh my God, they can play Fletcher Cox and Jordan Davis, and they can rotate them in, and they can play different things and at this point, the fact that they have those guys, it's just a killer. At the same time. And then when Fletcher Cox retires, you have this one who
It's
he's a top three player in the draft, but he just fell because he's a defensive tackle.
it's pretty amazing though to
Top
see.
five.
It's pretty amazing though to see that spectrum, right? That of that continuum also. Fletcher Cox, an older guy who in his prime and still to this day is an effective run stopper and pass rusher. That's also on the same team in the same line as one of the most like elite run blockers coming out of school in Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
I mean, watching him at Clemson, or sorry, excuse me, not Clemson. Watching him at Georgia it's still, it doesn't even feel like the talent level or like the difficulty of competition has really elevated that much for Jordan Davis. He is still just essentially plugging any gap and stifling any running back that comes his way, to say nothing of the fact that he is, for how enormous of a person he is so light on his feet. And then to have that guy combined with Cox, Hassan Reddick, who is in his own right an unbelievable athlete, and essentially speaking of cherries on top, he's essentially an accessory on this line,
And
which is
didn't they lose
unbelievable.
that Derek Barnett for the season?
Yes, and so and Barnett's not and Barnett seemingly is not going to play again, and they still have three, either past, present, and future stars.
Yeah.
And then on the other end, even with the line being not fully healthy because Jordan Mailata is kind of banged up, that it's and Kelsey and Jason Kelsey was still a little bit banged up
Lane
too.
Johnson got banged up in this game.
They still were able to keep Hurts upright, to keep getting through his reads, and letting AJ Brown and DeVonta Smith, their uber talented receiving pair, do what they do best, which is eat yards after the catch and stifle corners by either how fast or strong or crafty they are. Because AJ Brown is low to the ground, but he's not just a slot guy. He's not. He is so much more than that. And Smith, same thing with Smith. Smith is a skinny frame, but he plays tough.
Top 3 duo in the NFL.
And I think we're really seeing it now, that like these guys, you can go to them on
maybe
different...
I would take them over Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Maybe.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but I agree, because I just think they give you different layers, and on successive possessions, they can be who you run the possession through.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, oh, we only need to rely on AJ Brown if Devontae's not open or whatever. It's oh, like we can just scheme up something for him and for AJ, and then for Devontae, and then for AJ, and then whoever's in the end zone and open will get it to them and they'll catch it.
Yeah.
It is such a rich man's problem to have, to be like, oh, is Devontae not going to get snaps? He's not going to get touches at the behest of AJ Brown. Oh, what a tragedy, right? A fate worse than death.
Bradley, who has 2 of them both on his fantasy team. I just have Devontae. But the idea, like that duo in the top 3 is above the rest. You've got T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, who I'd still take first because I think Jamar Chase is the most talented.
Yeah, and
in the
right
NFL.
in terms of like actual like. He the combo of everything with him, like strength, speed, routes, like and build. I think he honestly probably tips the scales almost on his own.
Yeah,
that he is just so good that like Higgins is great. I love T too, but I think like I would say maybe Brown and Devontae are almost like maybe better than Higgins, but they're not better than Chase.
Right. Yes. So then I would probably rank Devontae Smith and Brown, and then Tyreek Hill and Waddle, just because I like the size element that they don't have. And I think they're a little more scheme specific, even though their speed
and
is
they're both
incredible.
speed guys. They are both speed guys. So it's not really like,
that's
a change.
What's amazing about AJ Brown and Devontae Smith is they have more versatility than any of those 3 duos.
Totally.
Even though I think Jamar Chase's speed is underrated, honestly. But